Hey guys, JC Smith here. We are back at the 2013 F450 engine, the V10 with no compression on number 3, and we got it all tore apart, and I wanted to show you what I found, which in the other video I already pointed this out, but I'm going to show you a little better here at this pointer, this screwdriver. Look at that. It ground it just destroyed this cam, and what that is this roller and this cam follower locked up, and the majority of these lash adjusters here are stuck. They're not moving, and I don't know if that's the before or after. That could be they're failing, and they're staying pumped up and put a lot of extra pressure on the cam, which is destroying these bearings, or is it one of these went bad or whatever happened and put metal into these, and that's why they're sticking. Who knows? It's the chicken or the egg thing. You really can't tell. But anyhow, so I went through, and the majority of them are no good. The cam is, as I showed you, it's ground off in so many places. It's no good. So I went and got the parts head. This is from another truck that I had that we tore the engine down for parts. So this, as far as the valve train is concerned, is pretty good. This truck was overheated. So as far as using it, it needs to be checked out, decked, all that stuff. But anyhow, the cam was good. This is a cam out of it, and as you can see, it's in really nice shape. I just wiped it down, looking for any problems with it, so I can decide what we're going to do. So here's where we're at. I took the other head, the one that had the bent valve in it, and last night I flipped this thing upside down, so it was sitting like this. So these galleys were up, and I filled them full of PB Blaster. Okay, it's a lot of PB Blaster. Anyways, I filled them all full. When I came back this morning, they still were full. So I did that so I could see if these valves were, if every valve was sealing. I had spark plugs in them at that time, but anyhow, I've taken them out since. But obviously we didn't do this one, but all of them were sealed and holding PB Blaster. So that's good. It means those valves at least will seal liquid out. Maybe not airtight, but probably pretty close. So where we're at now is I pulled this valve out, and that's, if you remember, that's the one that hit the piston. And let me show you how bent it was. It's not bent once, it's bent twice. So it's bent this way, then it's bent back this way. So anyhow, I was going to pull valve. That's an intake valve right there. So I was going to take this intake valve out and put it in the other, clean it up, inspect it of course before I did it, and then lap it into the other head to the valve seat. But my valve spring compressor is too big. This is very small, and you can see this, what I'm talking about. Let's see if I can get a good example here. That's my fat finger, and it's almost as big around as the valve spring. And my valve spring tool, I guess it's just too old for this newer stuff. But anyhow, so that's where we're at, and it's becoming a point where it may, even though the engine's fixable, it may not be cost effective, because by the time I figured out the cost for the rods, the mains, the connecting rod bolts, and a buddy of mine's telling me that I might have to replace all the main cap bolts too. So by the time you do all that, and then you get a headset or a full gasket set, whichever way you want to go, and then I buy all these lash adjusters and cam followers. These I think are 9 something a piece, and these are 15. I might have that backwards. It could be these are 15, that's 9. I don't remember, but so you figure times 30, because you have, I'm going to do all the heads. So that's kind of where I'm at, and I'm really adding up some money pretty fast, and I might be at a point where what I was going to use that motor for originally may not work. So rather than using this engine, this V10, for that project, I might just move into a diesel. I have diesels. Yeah, here's a perfect candidate. There's a mechanical DT 466. I don't remember. I think that one's a 230. That's a 230 horse DT 466 mechanical injection pump. I have that one. I have a couple more. I think that's the lowest mileage one I had, but I don't know. We might be changing. I have some Cummins laying around, some 5.9s. I don't have any 12 valves right now. If I had a 12 valve here, I would most definitely use that for this project instead of this gas. But I do have some 24 valves, and you know, I know a lot of guys kind of frown on that. They like the old 12 valves because they're mechanical and they're easy to make horsepower and all that. But quite honestly, I don't need that much horsepower. It's not that big a deal. You can turn a 24 valve up and do real well. And they're quieter, and I'm not a young guy, you know, I like quiet. That's better to me. It's worth it. Anyways, another thing I was going to tell you, when you're working on this aluminum, when we clean these things up, I use my die grinder, you know, this angle grinder, and on cast iron, I use these 3M Scotch-Brite, 3M, I don't know what, we call them cookies. I don't know what everybody else calls them, but they work really well. And on aluminum, we use these. These are plastic. They're made by 3M. And they come, I have these in green and I have them in yellow, and they're two different courses basically. One's a little bit softer than the others. So this is what we use on aluminum to clean it up before we put gaskets on or whatever. But if it's cast iron, we use these. You just got to be real careful because these will take metal off. So if you're using on cast iron, you got to be flat. You know, you don't want to be gouging into anything. So that's where we're at. I don't know where I'm going to go from here yet, but I got the head apart anyways. There's where we're at. The other head, it's still sitting here. I haven't taken it apart yet. There's no sense in me taking that apart because I know I'm going to replace, if I do it, I'm going to replace all the lash adjusters and all the cam followers, so it doesn't matter. I did roll this cam over, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that cam. It's in nice shape. It looks like I got some water on it. I carried it in from the rain here. I'll have to blow that off. Get some WD-40 on there. And in fact, if you didn't know that, little trivia, WD-40 stands for Water Displacement 40. That's what it was actually designed for. But so here we are. This isn't the end for this video, but you know, I'm gonna go look online, see what I can find, make some phone calls, and I'll let you know what I decide. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next one. Okay, guys, I just got done looking into the lash adjusters and the cam followers, all 30. It's hard to find anybody who sells them as a set. They want to sell them individually. If you get them as a set, it's obviously, I'm going to say cheaper, but it's not a lot. But anyways, so I did find them. Unfortunately, the best place to get them is eBay. It is what it is. I prefer local, but there's a significant difference between local and eBay, so I'm going to have to go with eBay. Now, that being said, they're quite a distance away, so I won't have these. Today's Friday, so I won't have them till probably Thursday, Friday of next week. And I'm ordering all the lash adjusters, all the cam followers. My Snap-on guy doesn't have the valve spring compression tool, so I found it online. OTC makes it, so I have to order that. And we're going to put all new intake and the exhaust valve stem seals in. And as far as the camshaft, we're going to use the one from the parts head from the parts truck that I had. We're going to use that camshaft. We're going to take a valve. This is the donor head. This is the one that was overheated. We're going to take one of these valves. Actually, I'm going to take this valve here out and use it in our existing head. When we do our valve stem seals, when we do our, the valve stem seals, I'm going to take all the valves out, you know, run them on the wire wheel, clean up the back sides, get all the deposits off, get all that ready to go. So, that being said, with the head gaskets, well, the head set and head bolts are $100 for both heads. So that's, I think it's 24 bolts. I can't remember now, but anyways, you buy them as sets for left head or right head. They're the same, but you have to buy one set for each head. That's what I mean. So with that and the fluids, we're running right about right at $1,050 to fix this engine, which may sound like a lot, but it's relative to what these engines cost used. This engine used with this kind of miles will start off probably at $1,700 used, and the likeliness that it's going to have something like this going on is pretty high. So, and a good low mileage engine, man, they could be $2,500, $3,000 used. So it's a relative number. And for this project we're putting in, I won't put any miles on this to really speak of. Maybe, man, I gotta tell you, if I put 3,000 miles on this thing when it's done, I'll be amazed. I mean, and it's not that I don't want to put more miles on it. It's just the fact that, you know, I'm busy, and this would be going into something that is more of a play thing than it is work. If this was going on a work truck, there's no question in my mind. I wouldn't have a question, a problem at all. I would send both heads out, have valve jobs done. I'd replace everything and put it back together. But it's not, and it's not that vehicle. So it's not the way I would like to do it. I'd prefer to, but you know, the reality is you have to consider what it is. And that extra money I could put into this that isn't necessary, I could be putting into the, you know, the brakes, the suspension, the steering, places that it really should be perfect. So that's where we're at. So as I've said in I don't know how many videos now, this project is on hold until we get parts. So we're gonna, it's still early in the day, it's only like 1 o'clock, so we're gonna move on to something else. I'm gonna get my parts washer in here. I've had a brand new parts washer in storage for, let's see, that would be 12 years. It's been in storage for 12 years. I've needed it, but I had a smaller benchtop version that I used, but we're digging it out now. It's actually in that U-Haul truck that I did the first start in, you know, 6 years. It's in that truck, so we're digging it out now, and we're going to bring it in here. So anyways, we're going to move on to something else. I still don't have parts for the 8N. My brother still hasn't brought me the parts for the Jubilee, and the John Deere's fixed. It's working. Of course, it's raining like mad, so we can't mow. Anyways, as soon as I get some parts for some stuff, that'll be the next video we put up and what we'll be working on. So look for the next one, and we'll see you then. Thanks. Okay, guys, I was able to get all of them out except for the ones that were already broke. That one was broke off, so I use one of these spring-loaded center punches and get it in the center. And God, I can't tell you how important it is to get it in the center. And then I drill a pilot hole. And before I drill it, I soak that in PB Blaster really good. And then I take one of these picks and I clean out all the threads. You know, I go right in the groove with the threads with the pick and get all the crud out. And I start with a regular right-handed drill bit. And once I feel this start to move, I stop, because it screws it back in because they're not bottomed out. And then I clean this out some more and soak it, and then I put an easy out in it and see if it'll come. If it won't come out, then I have these. These are left-handed drill bits, as you can see. They go backwards. And you can, if you're drilling backwards, what happens is obviously you're hoping it will grab, and when it does, it'll back the threads out, back the bolt out. So you got one on that one, and one broken in that one. I've got it center punched. You can see the center punch hole there, right in the center. So I'm going to start drilling that one, but I wanted to finish this one first. And you're hoping to get this thing out on its own, because if you go to drill this and you can't get this thing out, won't come out with easy outs, then you end up having to tap it. And because that's steel and this is aluminum, it's very hard to tap if fragments are left in there. So you almost have to go to like a special stud and go larger in this part on your stud and then back to the regular size. And it's kind of a pain. So very, very slow, tedious process. Lots of patience. So I'm going to see if I can get it out. So hang on. Yep. Better get out of there. You might see I'm doing it. That's some high quality welds out there. You see that? Somebody's running. Saw the camera. Somebody starts running. So that is the ideal extraction. The whole thing came out, and the threads are perfect. No damage at all. So now we got to take the other one out. So I started drilling it. I don't know if you can tell in there, but when I started drilling right hand threads, it started moving in. So that's a good sign because it does move. So now I'll put the easy out in it and try it. Well, that's so hard to get. Alright, so it's starting to move. As soon as it starts to get a little tough, I'll back it off, just like running a tap. Just back and forth, real easy. Because, you know, when it broke off, it gets some crud in that aluminum. So you just keep going back and forth, real easy. And before you know it, if all goes well, it'll come out, if you're lucky. Patience, lots of patience. One thing I do not have is what? Patience. Patience. Yeah, I'm the most impatient person. I think it's going to come out now. And there it comes. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. So what'd that take me? Half hour to do both of them? Okay. Not very long. Now I gotta get the extractor out, so I'll start to thread that back in. Here, you hold that for me. I'm gonna try and screw it back in enough that I can get the extractor out, but still there it is. Pretty cool. So, and the threads are perfect. Like I said, the key when I'm doing this, what I like to do is take that pick and I run it through them threads and clean all that crap out. Seems to help out quite a bit. So there we go. That's about it for the day. Brandon's about done welding, I think. So see what he did. He hates when I videotape him. I think he says he does. I don't think he does. I think he likes it. I tell you, it's a pretty impressive weld. That's how you weld a diesel tank with diesel in it. Nice job. Alright guys, that's it for now. So you fix a rusty old International.